Okay, g'day guys, my name's Alex. Welcome to another episode of Punting 101. This week is episode 8. I'll be talking about how to use a bonus bet. First things first, I guess, if you're listening to this on YouTube or on our podcast, make sure you're in our Facebook group, TryPod NRL Betting, TryPod Punters Tips Forum. That's our group where we have all our comps, etc. Make sure you're in the app. It's free to download. Just search it in the App Store or Google Play. It's TryPod. That's where all our tips are as well, and you'll find other expert tipsters in there also. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're listening this on Facebook. There's a link in the description to this video. Otherwise, just search TryPod NRL Betting Podcast on YouTube, and you should find a subscription link in there. Also, make sure that you've subscribed to our podcast as well. Just search TryPod in the Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast, Stitcher, Apple, or whatever. Podcast Addict on Android, and you should be able to find our pods there. This one's going to be about how to use a bonus bet. If you've been in our group for quite some time, you'll know that I wrote an article on this about 2 years ago when a lot of people, when we had Chase the Ace going with William Hill, we had a lot of people asking about what they should do with all these bonus bets that they'd acquired. People had thousands of dollars worth of bonus bets back in the day with the William Hill Chase the Ace, and they were asking what the best way to go about using them was. And there were all sorts of sort of theories floating out there, whether you should arb them, whether you should play both sides of a certain bet so you get guaranteed profit, whether you should just put them on $2 odds and you most likely will win and get your money back. So I'm gonna kind of run down the way that we do it a little bit mathematically, and what I'll do is after we're done here, after I've done with this pod, I'll post a link as well in the description to this video so you can find that on our website, which will be basically just everything that I've talked about just in written format. One thing I would like to mention, there is going to be a lot of bonus bet promos coming up now, especially over the next few months. Obviously, we've got Spring Racing Carnival, where you're going to get bonus back if your horse finishes second or third, so you're going to have bonus bets from that. You're going to have bonus bets back from your 4-leg NFL multis, your 4-leg NBA multis, so there's multiple ways that you will accrue bonus bets, so it is good to have an idea of how you are going to use them, because some of them do expire in 7 days, some of them expire in 30 days, things like that, so you want to know what you're going to do once you have them. One thing I would mention, and I'm not a victim of this, I guess, but as you guys know, I'm pretty much banned on every single site in Australia, so I can barely place a bet anymore. What I would suggest is make sure that you're not playing too many promos, too many money back promos, that kind of thing, because that'll flag you to the bookies, and there's nothing more important than having multiple bookies to be able to shop around for prices and lines and that kind of thing. So as a guide, I would probably suggest probably playing a promo 10% of your bets. So 90% of the time you're just placing a regular bet, and maybe 10% of the time you are playing a cashback or bonus back promo. So for the examples below that I'm going to go through, I'm just going to assume that there is either no bookie edge, because it just makes it a little bit easier to explain, or another way you could look at it is you've just found a market where the bookie doesn't have any edge on you, which, shouldn't be that hard to do, because, we've over 4 years demonstrated that we can find markets that we have an edge over the bookie, so it should be easy enough to find a market where there's zero edge to you and zero edge to the bookie. So the example I'm going to go through, so let's assume that you as a punter are given 10 $100 bonus bets to use. It just works that way, because if I go through just one bonus bet, it doesn't really illustrate the point as well. And you're going to have a bunch of bonus bets, throughout your life, throughout your punting life, so it helps. It is a kind of a long-term strategy. So let's assume you have 10 $100 bonus bets to use, and I'll go through 3 ways of using them, and why you should kind of follow what we do with our bonus bets anyway, that'll help you end up with more money at the end of the day. So the first thing is, a lot of people do this still, that have even been in our group for a long time. And the first option is you use all 10 of these $100 bonus bets on bets of $2 odds. And a lot of people say this is a good way to go about it because it's safer. They don't want to lose their bonus bets. They don't want to end up with nothing out of their bonus bets. So let's just use them on a $2 odds. They'll most likely win, and will most likely turn that bonus bet into cash. Let me tell you why this is not the best idea. So let's say, you have the 10 bets. They're all worth $100. You put them all on bets of $2 odds. So what does that tell you? It tells you that those bets have a 50% chance of winning. So you're most likely going to end up with 5 wins out of those 10 bets. So you've won 5 of those bets, and you're going to end up with $100 from every single one of those. Because obviously you're putting on a $100 bonus bet, you win, and as you know, you don't get to keep the stake. So you win 200, but they keep the stake of 100. So you end up with 5 wins of $100. So you've just turned that $1,000 bonus bet into $500 in cash, which sounds decent, I guess, because most of the time you're getting these bonus bets for free. But there is a better way. So you've turned $1,000 in the bonus bets into $500 cash. What you really want to be doing is getting as close as to turning the exact amount of bonus bets into that exact amount of cash. And you pretty much want to aim to get that ratio around 1-to-1. So obviously turning $1,000 of bonus bets into $500 cash is not very efficient. So the next example is, let's say you use all of those 10 bonus bets on bets of $5 odds, right? So if a bet's $5 odds, and once again, we're assuming no bookie edge, or that you've found a market that doesn't have a bookie edge, which, you should be able to do. So if a bet's $5, it's meant to win 20% of the time, right? That's what a $5 odds bet looks like. So if you're placing 10 of those bets, you are most likely going to win 2 of those bets at $5 odds, right? So what would happen? You put a $100 bonus bet on something at $5 odds, you win $500, you minus the $100 stake because you don't get to keep the stake, so that's $400. So you've just won 2 bets of profit of $400. That leaves you with $800. So in this scenario, you've turned a $1,000 bonus bet into $800 of real cash, which is a pretty good scenario, really. Which is obviously better than the previous one where you're putting $2 odds bets on. And this works, I guess, I guess it is a kind of a curve that levels out. Obviously, the higher odds you go, the better this is going to look. So just for example, let's go to $10 odds. You put all 10 bets on $10 odds. So that has a 10% chance of winning. You win 1 of those bets, right? Because that's what's meant to happen if you're betting at $10 odds. You bet 10 times, you win 1 of them, and you win $1,000. But take off the $100 stake and you end up with $900. So once again, that is slightly better. And obviously this keeps going up as your odds increase. But understandably, and a lot of people do say this, they're like, well, I can't afford to lose all of my bonus bets. I want to end up with something out of it. So what I'd suggest to those people, if you don't want to be throwing down, $40, $50, $100 odd multis, the best scenario, the best way that I would say to do it is to try and split up your bonus bets into as small amounts as you can, because then you've got a few more to play with. And I would say the absolute minimum odds that you should be doing are $5 odds. Because we all know, using a bonus bet on $1.10 odds or $1.50 odds is just crazy. So I would say the absolute benchmark and the absolute minimum odds that you should be putting your bonus bets on is $5 odds. That at least will most likely leave you with something, and you won't lose a lot. But, I'm a bit more of a risk taker, and you don't necessarily even have to be a risk taker. It just makes more sense mathematically to use them at higher odds than that. So, if you're asking me, I would say most likely use them, $30, $40, $50 odds, especially if you find some good markets, and especially if you can use them in a multi, and you can find advantage plays. Generally, you should be able to hit a few of those. All right, let me see what else I've got. Okay, yeah, I have had actually a few people hit me up, and it is kind of the same thing, where they say, I don't want to lose it all, so I'm going to play it a bit safer, and I'm just going to put it on $2 odds. The issue with that is, the expected value, like I was saying. So for the first option, where you're using them all on $2 odds, your expected value out of that $1,000 is $500. For the second option, where you're using them all at $5 odds, your expected value out of that is $800. And that's all we do, punting, is we're trying to get the highest expected value that we possibly can. And for someone that's, using them at $2 odds, for what I would say to that is, it's like, and I've asked this question to numerous people over time, it's like if someone comes up to you and says, here, you can have $10,000 now, cash, I'll just hand it to you, or you can have a 50% chance of me giving you $30,000, what do you want to do? And, a lot of people would just say, look, I'll take the $10,000 and go. but it's not right mathematically, because if you look at the expected value of the second option, you've got a 50% chance of getting 30 grand. Therefore, your expected value is $15,000. So that's all you're trying to do here, is just raise your expected value. And over time, you're going to have hundreds of bonus bets over time. Over time, that will maximize your profits. One other thing that I would like to get into that a lot of people do, and a lot of people think is a good idea, is playing both sides of a certain game, to guarantee profit with your bonus bets. And I'm going to try and illustrate why this isn't the smartest thing to do. So what I've done is I've actually taken odds for an NBA game tomorrow, and I've actually taken them off Pinnacle, which is an American site, but they have odds way better than Aussie sites. A lot of you guys might remember Penny, back when we could bet with them in Australia. So I'm taking the Nets are playing the Pelicans tomorrow. The Nets are $5 odds on Penny. You can't even get anywhere near that on any Aussie bookie. They're like $4.75. And the Pelicans are $1.21. They're no higher than $1.20 anywhere here. So this will illustrate my point better, because the odds are higher on Penny, but I'll show you why it still doesn't quite work. So what people would generally do, right? And I'll do the exact same thing. You've got 10 bonus bets to use, $100 a bonus bet. Let's see how we go, right? So you would put a $100 bonus bet on the Nets at $5. That's what most people would do when they're saying, let's guarantee some profit. You put a $100 bonus bet on the Nets at $5, and then because that bet would win you $400 cash, right? $100 at $5 odds minus your stake would win you $400. They would put $400 on the Pelicans at $1.21. And obviously, if the Nets win, you break even. And if the Pelicans win, you make $84 profit, but you've lost a $100 bonus bet. So you do this 10 times, let's say, over time. You do this exact same thing 10 times. You find a $5 dog, you put your bonus bet on it, you put the money on the rest of the money that you were going to win on the favorite. You do it 10 times, right? So over time, let's say over those 10 bets, the Nets should win twice, right? Because they're $5 underdogs. $5 means they should win 20% of the time. So over 10 bets, they should win twice. So that's $800 in cash. Two bets. You know where I'm going with this. So $5 odds, you win $400 each time, because it's 500 minus the stake, and you make $800 cash. In that 10 times, the Pelicans will win 8 times, most likely, right? Expected. That nets you $3,872, because you're putting $400 on the Pelicans 10 times. So in this scenario, right, you've spent $4,000 in cash, because it's $400 on the Pelicans 10 times, and you've spent your $1,000 bonus bet as well. And in this scenario, you end up with $4,672. So, that sounds all well and good, but when you deep dive, $4,672, but you've spent $4,000 in cash and a $1,000 bonus bet. So in this scenario, you've turned a $1,000 bonus bet into $672. Yes, you've done it in a guaranteed way, but over time, that is nowhere near efficient as putting all of your bonus bets on long odds bets. You will win them mathematically, some of them over time, and it is a far more efficient way of doing things. That'll pretty much do it, I think, guys. So just, make sure you are not putting your bonus bets, any of them, on anything under at least $5. I'd prefer to see you guys put them on $10 or higher, but certainly $5 is the absolute minimum that you should be putting those on. Never put them on $2 or $3, shots, and never ever put them on under $2, because it's just mathematically insane to do something like that. You are cheating yourself. And plus, you're cheating yourself out of a bit of fun. Bonus bets don't come around all too often, so you may as well use them on something that's at least going to be a bit of fun, which is a long odds multi, or a horse that you find is a very solid price or something like that. But that'll pretty much do it, guys. That's episode 8. Make sure you join us tomorrow on this page as well. I'm going to be going through the week 8 slate of the NFL. Jacob's not going to be with me. He's moving house at the moment. So I'm going to be going through week 8 of the NFL tomorrow on this page at 10 a.m. And I actually like pretty much a side or a total in every single game this week. So we should have a full slate for you guys tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Queensland time on this page. But yeah, that'll do it, guys. Make sure you join the group. Make sure you're in the app, because we've already posted a $100 comp for the Cox Plate tomorrow. So make sure you enter that. It is free to enter. But we will catch you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Queensland time to break down round 8 of the NFL. See you then.